My fellow traders, this is Ed, also known as the Average Joe Trader, and today I'm doing this free webinar on how we can profit from Bitcoin in the stock market. Now, over the last month, I've been getting flooded with emails about what I felt about Bitcoin. Am I trading it? So this webinar is going to show how we can profit from Bitcoin the average Joe way. So just sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the webinar. Now, of course, we got to do the disclaimer first. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I'm not a registered broker, and I will not provide investment or financial advice or make investment recommendations. I'm only sharing my thoughts and personal opinions for educational purposes only. AJT, Average Joe Trading, is not in the business of transacting trades for anyone else other than myself, nor does any service I provide constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, promotion, or endorsement of any particular security other than other investment product, transaction, or investment. I'm not promoting anything. Average Joe Trading is an LLC, and it is open to other individuals that have invested in the company by purchasing percent of ownership. So if you hear or somebody says, I'm trading for them, that's what they're talking about. I'm not directly taking their money and trading it. They invest in a company. The company grows and makes money, and they receive dividends based on, how well I do, how well the company does. So, I wanted to clarify that because, that has come up in the past. But just know I'm not in the business for to making trades for other people, where other people just give me money and say, here, trade it. That's not what, it's illegal for me to do that, and I don't do it. Now, who am I? If you don't know me, this is the first time you're hearing one of my webinars or my videos, I am an automotive engineer as well as a professional educator. I still have my professional teaching license here in the state of South Carolina. I still teach the classes that new teachers coming from industry, coming into the classroom, need to be certified or to be licensed in the state. I'm going to continue to do that. I love teaching. It is one of the top passions that I have. So I've been in and out of the market since 1999, but I started day trading full time alongside my day job in 2014, January at the beginning. I spent the last quarter of 2013 learning, preparing, trying to get myself ready to do this. Now, I've used what I've learned in strategies, processes, and reflection that I brought from my engineering and education careers into trading, which I believe has been the keys to my success in the market, in which I believe those 10% that are successful in making a living at this have either directly or indirectly figured out, all of these strategies, these processes that we need, that we bring from everyday life. We need it to help us get to the next level. I took several education programs to learn the fundamentals of day trading, and though they've been able to help somewhat, I've taken that, but I've had to go a lot further. I've had to define myself as a trader, and throughout the process, I realized that I was more comfortable and more effective trading a smaller account, because we as traders have to find our sweet spot. And I'm not the type that will sit there with $250,000 of buying power, because I would probably use it, in knowing me. And that's why I have to do things the way I do it. And we as individuals have to get to know who we are as a person, as a trader, and we build our strategy around that. That doesn't mean we can't make a lot of money. It may mean that we have to start out smaller than we want to, but we get there. So, that's kind of the thing that I've gone through. Now, full disclosure here, this is not my car. I was walking down the Battery in Charleston and saw the car. I'm a automotive engineer, so I love, the classic engineering. And this is one of the cars that I like. So I saw it, got a photo out there. One day I'll own it, or I'll own one. But right now, I'm just taking pictures. So I started in 2014 with $1,500. I had $1,500 bonus check from my job. The first and only time I had that. But over the course of 2014, I refunded it fully 5 times. But in between those 5 times, I would put in, $250, $175, $100. Whatever odd jobs I did and got money for that I wanted to use for trading, I would put it in there. And at that time, SureTrader allowed you to, there was no minimum to what you could deposit. Now it's $500 minimum. Back then I could deposit $50 if I wanted to. But by the end of 2014, I had $9,800 in my account. That does not mean I made money. I actually did not make money. I had $9,800, but you got to remember, I refunded 5 times. I added money along the way, in between those mass refunds. So I didn't really make money, but at the end of the year, I had $9,800. So I decided to pull 48 out, start 2015 with $5 grand. And by October, I had grown that $5 grand to $75K. And I did an interview with the community I was with at the time. That video is still out there on YouTube. But it's been an amazing journey. So by October of 2016, I was at around 196. And I started, and what I did was I kind of got messed up going straight to the big account, looking at all of this buying power, and couldn't handle it, and ended up losing some money over a stretch of a couple of months. And I was trying to get to 200K by the end of the year, but I kind of shot myself in the foot. But what I did since 2016, it's actually been more than 3 times now. When I wrote this was a year ago. Just this year, in 2017, I've started over multiple times with $1,500. But this is what I did at the end of 2016, and I had started in July, and by October, November, I had turned it into 18 grand. Now, obviously, the market wasn't as good as it was in 2015. We've had some struggles this year. I've started multiple times with $1,500 in the chat room. But I'm almost at 60 grand. And I started with $1,500, 4 times in 2017. So it's very doable, to start with small size. And that's what I work with my traders on, It's starting where you are, what you have, and making it happen. And I currently run the day trading education community, Average Joe Trading. It's 100% focused on education. As such, none of my classes you have to pay for if you're a member. Yeah, you can buy the classes standalone, but I recommend, and it's a whole lot cheaper if you join. And if you only stay a quarter, 3 months, it's going to be well worth it. So, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about how I'm using Bitcoin, or how you can use it to profit. All right, so I came across this illustration this past week, and it shows the direction that we as a people are going. You look at Airbnb, which is now the largest accommodations provider. It owns no real estate. Alibaba, the world's most valuable retailer, has no inventory. Facebook, the world's most popular media owner, creates no content of its own. Uber, the world's largest taxi company, owns no vehicles. And Bitcoin, I don't know if you can say it's a bank, but it has no actual cash. It's all virtual. It's all digital. And this makes sense now for businesses. There was a time where if you didn't have inventory, you didn't have a business. But we have come so far, and technology has brought us, the internet has allowed for these companies not to even have that risk. What risk does Airbnb have? It doesn't, because it doesn't own anything. The owners are practically private contracts. They're in business for themselves. They have to provide their own insurance. The same way with Alibaba and the inventory and the things that they sell. The seller, they have shifted the responsibility back to the seller, because Alibaba doesn't touch it. They're just a middleman. Uber. Each person that drives their Uber owns their own business. Essentially, that's what they do. And they're responsible for paying, everything. Their taxes, they're maintaining their vehicle. That's their job. In Bitcoin, we know what that is right now. So, this seems like the shift that society is heading in. And I'm not saying that it's a bad shift. It was just interesting, because this was the first time I thought about everything that way. So just a little background on Bitcoin. It was created in January of 2009. It's a cryptocurrency and a worldwide payment system. It's the first decentralized digital currency. And the system works without a central bank or single administrator, which we're going to look at a little in a minute here. It uses a blockchain. No government owns it. It decides its own value. That's what scares me. The community decides what it's worth. Bitcoin isn't based on silver or gold. It's purely based on mathematical proofs and algorithms. It's based on the confidence of the users of these blockchains. And initially it was designed to circumvent Wall Street, because this came on the heels of the financial meltdown we had in 2009. And this was a way to prevent that from happening, or to prevent the events that led to the financial crisis from happening again. But as we know, Wall Street's is kind of creeping in on the backside of this now. But there are no physical Bitcoins. It's funny because, well, I guess it's not funny, because if you don't know, you don't know. When I first heard about it, I assumed there would be a physical coin too. But it's not. Only balances kept on a public ledger in that cloud, or that blockchain, along with all the transactions, is verified by all the computers in that blockchain. The bitcoins are not issued or backed by any banks or governments, nor are individual bitcoins valuable as a commodity, because there's nothing physical. It's all digital. Despite it not being a legal tender, Bitcoin charts high in popularity and has triggered the launch of other virtual currencies. And they refer to them as altcoins. But it's not a legal tender because it's not backed by any government or any physical commodity. So it can't be considered a legal tender. However, there are companies that are poised to take these as payment, which is legitimizing them, in our society. And I got this from Investopedia. Now, this is, we all see these coins, these depictions of gold coins with the B in the middle. And, it's decentralized, peer-to-peer. They've got everything written on here. So if you don't know, and you're coming in and you hear everybody talking about Bitcoin, you automatically think this is the coin that you're going to get. But in reality, there's no physical coin. They're just bits. They're pixels. They're just bits of these things that people are investing in and they're using for payment. It's nothing physical. So that's why, it's not a commodity. And it's not backed by any commodity. So in a way, it's cool. To me it's cool, but it's also, a little bit scary for me at the same time. But Bitcoin futures are set to begin trading. Well, I wrote this before last Sunday. So last Sunday it was designed it was going to be start trading on Sunday. And then CME, another clearinghouse, is going to open up for trading on December 18th. So the cryptocurrency soared above 19 grand. And right now, well, the last time I checked, when I updated this, it was 17.6. When I did this presentation to my swing trading group last Sunday morning, the hour that we were there, I think it changed $2,500. And I think the volatility was there because that was the day that futures were going to start trading. So, but, retail brokers at the time, they didn't have any uniform rules about trading futures. Some didn't allow it. I just got word that TD Ameritrade is going to allow Bitcoin futures, or allow trading on Bitcoin futures this coming week. But the problem was there's so many Bitcoin exchanges, it was going to make them hard to set a price. So what they had to do is just pick a spot and go with it. They have to be consistent with it. At first, you're going to see some smart brokers restrict margin. I've heard that some were given 15 to 1, which is scary. But the jury is still out now on how this is going to affect the volatility of the market. For me, and I can't say that this was a direct result of the futures coming out on Bitcoin and what's happening now. I had a tough week this week. I'm red 3 days, but less than $200 I was less than $100 red one day, less than $200 red on 2 other days, but had one big day and a regular day. But my normal strategies in the morning weren't giving me the bigger moves. And I'm the type person where I'm not going to just take profit. I'm going to let that initial move happen. And if it doesn't work, then that tells me where I'm at that day. Now, yeah, sometimes I do choose the wrong stock off my watch list. That one doesn't work, and then the other stocks tend to work. You know, that's something different. But across the board, I didn't see, I saw a difference in the volatility. And so for me, I'm not sure how this is going to affect my strategies and whether I'm going to have to adapt to maybe the summertime trading again, so that I can, make money. We do have to adapt our strategies to the market as it changes cycles. But, we'll see. Some people made a bunch of money last week, and they didn't make good money the week before. So it's, the market is a living, breathing entity. So, things like that are going to happen. I'm just curious to see what's going to come. If they're going to start to allow ETFs to creep in. That may be a couple months down the road. Before the summer hits, we may be able to see some ETFs out there. So this was a traditional way of doing business. Okay. Let's say you were going to sign up for Average Joe Trading. You're going to get a year monthly subscription that's $99. So you send it to me. It has to go through a third party. In this case, it'd be PayPal. So let's say, and then I get it, and PayPal takes their cut, and I might get $89, $88 out of the deal. Okay, this is real conservative. So if you don't have a PayPal account, then guess what happens? You go through a credit card company, then through PayPal, and then it gets to me. It doesn't affect you because you're sending the full amount. Whatever happens when it gets to me is on me. Okay, I have to deal with that. And unless you're sending money to SureTrader, then you're gonna get nailed here and here. They may start nailing you up here or down here somewhere. But traditional banks are the traditional third party is gonna work like this. And this blockchain technology eliminates this third party. Now, how well the banks are going to fight against this once they start losing revenue, who knows. But this is designed to skip all of this, go from here to here, and it's going to be verified by all the others in the blockchain. And so as long as these others are verified, you're good. You're guaranteed that you're going to get 100% of what's being sent to you. Nobody's taking a cut. So this is how the blockchain looks. Or this is a good illustration of what the blockchain is. Everybody is connected. And let's say this person is sending something to this person. Yeah, it's going to run through the blockchain because that's how it gets verified. This is supposed to prevent, hacking. That if this person tries to hack it and it doesn't match up and it doesn't fly with all of these others, that transaction is not going to happen. We know that there's something wrong on, one of these terminals, or there's something not right with the transaction. So, machine to machine payment using this Bitcoin, it just allows for direct payment. You eliminate that third party that's going to take a piece of the money that you're sending and make it a lot simpler. Now, this technology, I love it because it can be used in just about anything. It can be used in any industry to help legitimize it. People are seeing now how the blockchain can transform businesses and really introduce more efficiency. More efficiency means more profit. More profit means more money that can go back into the community, that you may be able to hire more people. It's just a way of keeping record. It's kind of a glorified bookkeeping system is what it is. Because money, at its core, money is just an accounting system. It just documents who has what and who owes it to who. But then you need a centralized system to connect the two people in a way that people feel comfortable doing business. It is really going to transform the way businesses work. Because before, even storing things on a computer, sometimes we would keep transactions on paper. Okay, or now, we do it on the computer and we print out it on paper and, we look at it. The blockchain is going to change all of that. Because the problem with paper is it can get lost. It can get tampered with. What I call Bernie Madoff. There's a lot of fraud in the supply chains and all of the chains that are part of a business's infrastructure. So, there are 3 layers that need to use a blockchain. The first is the interface, such as the website or the phone application. The next is the actual blockchain, that's the trust part. That's what we're looking at here. And then the third is the internet. And that's the communication layer. So once you have it in place, it can be used in a number of ways. And that's the technology is what's exciting me. That's what I'm looking to invest in and make money in. Because like I said, Bitcoin, I'm just using it as a reference for cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is really what we're talking about. But, I'm using Bitcoin as the face of it. The technology that runs this system, this cryptocurrency, can change the face of how we communicate, how we do business together, but also how businesses do business and how we do businesses with those businesses. And that is where the future lies, I believe. Okay, so in my opinion, Bitcoin hasn't really fully gained the trust of old timers on Wall Street, like the baby boomers or Generation Xers. I'm a Generation Xer, but it's captured the imagination of the millennials. This is the part of society. This group in society is driving this virtual world. And it's been growing through this millennial. And, the price of Bitcoin, it keeps skyrocketing because everybody believes this thing is going to continue to go. And it's just supply and demand because there is a cap set on these cryptocurrencies. Like Bitcoin, the cap is 21 million. Once it reaches 21 million, that's it. And so for me, the supply and demand deal is going to make this thing skyrocket. But right now, it's just a crapshoot. I don't have any bias as to whether it's going to go up or down. I just don't. I think once this initial excitement dies, there's going to be a correction. And those that came in late, who are jumping in now, trying to get them a piece, you're going to run into a bunch of fakes. And you're not going to know that because you don't understand the blockchain They may be creating their own, and you're gonna feel like well, you know what I mean. But that's why I'm investing my money in stocks that support that technology. Some people say that's a crapshoot. No, this technology is revolutionary. And as the code gets written that's going to allow this to become mainstream in the business world, this thing is going to skyrocket. So the technology behind Bitcoin can actually facilitate the most monumental shift in our culture since the internet. And we're on tap. This is a very exciting time. Even though people are skeptical about the market continuing to go up, they're skeptical about Bitcoin continuing to go up, the technology that's coming out is making this a very, very exciting time. Not only to be in business, but to be in the market. Because there's going to be a lot of changes coming. And, we just need to be poised to take advantage of it. So what I did was I went through and I started to find and look for stocks that were related to Bitcoin itself, and that's related to the technology behind Bitcoin. And so, every Sunday morning we have a watch list and strategy building session with the swing traders in my community, and we went over all of these stocks last Sunday and talked about which ones we needed to be looking at, which ones I'm going to have. I don't know, every day I've got a montage of charts with just these stocks I'm watching. So if one does take off or one does get a catalyst, we can be on top of it. But I'm going to share a couple of these Bitcoin stocks. This is Bitcoin Investment Trust, or Grayscale's Bitcoin Investment Trust, or GBTC. They gained 1,000% so far in 2017. This one was the first publicly quoted security solely invested in and getting its value from the price of Bitcoin. So this trust actually holds Bitcoins, but it allows you a more mainstream way of investing in Bitcoin so that you're not going through, decentralized or unregulated exchanges. This is more for the old, the old school that may want to get in on this, but they need a more traditional way of doing it. This actually trades like an ETF, but it doesn't have a mechanism to bring its market price in line with its underlying assets. Really, what it's doing is it's charging you, at the last I heard, or the last I saw, 51% higher than what the actual cost of the Bitcoin is. So, this is where we have a problem with things being unregulated. So, as a result, it's often traded at a big premium to underlying assets. So relative to decentralized exchanges, going this route is going to provide improved visibility and safety. It may be liquidity, but I haven't seen it yet. The jury's still out on this. It's just not liquid right now. And, again, it's just too risky. I'm not going to pay, 51% higher price for something that can still lose value. And I'm going to end up losing even more value. That just doesn't make sense for me. And it looks like it doesn't make sense for a lot of people because the volume on this is abysmal. But you can see it moving up. But when you're only, trading no more than 400,000 shares or 350,000 shares, this is not something that you want to trade. Look at this one NXNC on Friday, you know, this one went from 750 to 36. But it only traded just over 10,000 shares. You know, there's no way you can trade. I think the spread on this was like 20 bucks. So these stocks, they're OTCs. This one actually tried to get listed on the New York Stock Exchange back in September, and they got turned down. There's still some question as to how this can work. You know, because anybody can come in and charge you twice as much of what a Bitcoin is trading for at the time. And that's just not going to work. There's no way you can make money that way. All right, so we're going to get into the more traditional stocks. Now, Riot, RIOT, this was the main one on our list from last week. Because what really got me excited about this company is that it really transformed itself from a from a biotech stock to a blockchain technologies and investments. Now, it used to be called Bioptics, and it provided diagnostic equipment to biotech industries. You know, it's made an investment in Veriday, which is a company that provides accounting and verification blockchain-based assets. So they've gone all in. And this is what really excites me about this. And you can look at the chart here. We've got plenty of volume in this stock, and it's really done some amazing things. Now you see right here, even though we made this big run up, and this is a day that we did trade this, it came back, and it hasn't been able to penetrate this ascending resistance here. But I think next week we blow through this, and the sky's going to be the limit on this, guys. You know, if things continue to press. So, you know, this is just my opinion. It's what I'm doing. And so, yeah, obviously you're going to want to make up your own decision. But just to show you, this is the day that we day traded it. And, you know, we got to run up. I don't like day trading stocks that I can't short. And in this one, I didn't have any shorts for. And I didn't really care to trade it, but I thought the potential would be good. You know, I thought we would have some good, strong move up to the upside. You know, but we didn't. And we was able to, you know, maximize what we could. But here's where I would have liked to go short. And this could have easily been anywhere from $7,000 to $1,000 a day had I been able to short this as well. But this is just to show you the volatility in these stocks, that you can trade them. This particular one doesn't have any shorts. I think people are just expecting this thing to just die. But I mean, look at how well this trades. Here, look at this flag here. It flagged out pre-market, and bam, 8:30 traders came in. We ran this thing up. You know, here's another one. I mean, just beautiful trades here, opportunities, clean, you know, relatively clean price action. So here's where we swing traded this. I got in, and we made a nice move up to 30. I put this target out and had no idea we would hit this, but I'm always going to have my target because I'm not monitoring these intraday. I'm getting in it and I'm just forgetting about it. I'm getting in, set my targets, and then letting it go. So I'd only set 30. So when we ran up and hit 30, I'm like, shoot, well, I need to put another one. Let's just do 32.50, because this 31.68 was just too close to take a quarter position off. So when this ran up, it hit 32.50. I probably should have put 33 on it, but I was just picking targets that were based on my percentage gains, and ended up having to stop out here the next day because you see this huge gap down. This is where it closed. This is where we opened the next day. And as we pushed up, I hung on to it. When we got down like this, I'm not going to panic out. I'm going to give it a chance to recover some. And as much as we can recover, then I can take it off. And that's exactly what I did. It wasn't quite break even, but I didn't really lose too much on this. Maybe a couple of dollars on this cover. And so the next day, we trigger another entry here. And I get in, I think this is Friday. And this is Wednesday. So on Friday, no, this is Tuesday. Then on Friday, I took half off of what I had on Thursday. Now, this concerns me a little bit because of how this is gapped. I don't want to see a big gap down because this will cut into the profits I made this week. I don't want to see this huge gap down. But I knew this was a risk going in, but I was pretty good, profit-wise. We made a good penny off of this. So we'll see going into this week where we end up. But this was the main one we were looking at last week. And it's going to be the main one I'm looking at going into next week for me, because this is based on technology development. This is the one that I really like. In MSFT, this is another good stock. Azure, which is their cloud computing arm, they want to be the first to mainstream blockchain to enterprise businesses. So they want to work one-on-one with businesses to create their own, using blockchain to create their own network topology. Companies that will benefit the most they're the ones that rely on third-party intermediaries. So blockchain simplifies that process and allows everyone to have access to the same data at all times. Nothing can be deleted. Nothing can be manipulated. It's right there. The difference between Microsoft's blockchain and Bitcoin's is that Bitcoin's is a public blockchain, while Microsoft specifically designed for enterprise. So to be private to that business or people doing business with those businesses. And then there will be some that work within the infrastructure of the business, like maybe inventory control. Blockchains can be used for that as well. Okay, and here's a good picture of Microsoft. We're breaking out 52-week highs. We broken over this ascending resistance here. So we're looking good, on Microsoft. And this would be more of a long-term investment for me. Okay, IBM. Like Microsoft, they're looking to target businesses with blockchain technology. And it has they've broken theirs up into solutions for small and large businesses. They're focusing on a democratic application of blockchain that allows users to create networks, determine governance rules, and invite networks to validate transactions. Invite network members to validate their transactions. It's a blockchain workshop, and it provides consultation and teaches you how to create your own blockchain technology or network. And then Blockchain Accelerator helps guide businesses through the legal and technical ramifications. So IBM was like, you're not letting me out of this. I want to be a part of this too. But IBM is taking a hit. We got rejected here on this descending resistance. We'll see. I really feel that IBM will come back. I I don't think people really understand or have taken a shine to. This seems too complicated. And blockchain is not supposed to be complicated. It's supposed to be simple. So I think the people that are putting out the simple solutions are the ones that's going to do better, or the companies that are going to do better overall. Now, Pfizer, this is a pharmaceutical company. They've been plagued by supply chain fraud, and blockchain could be the answer to that. Imagine, well, I know I'm wishing on a star here, but imagine how cheaper the drug prices will be if the fraud is cut down. You know, that's not to say that they're gonna change the price. They could make more money, but I would hope that it would trickle down to the consumers. Now, the Drug Supply Chain Security Act, established in 2013, is weighing on the pharmaceutical industry to find a solution. And they're thinking this blockchain is going to be able to, stop all of this fraud and counterfeiting. So it's joined several. This Security Act, it put several big pharma cohorts into this Medi-Ledger project, and they're trying to develop this blockchain. And Pfizer is a big part of that. So, in essence, if a shipment of drugs happens to fall off a truck and land into somebody's hands, the data stored on the blockchain would show who last touched the shipment. Any stolen goods will be harder to unload in bulk because the blockchain makes it easier to provide authenticity. So they're really banking on this blockchain technology. Everybody kind of loves it. And you can see Pfizer has, started to build on this. We're seeing more and more people now say, okay, Bitcoin is here. It's trying to get into the market. Now let's profit on what's driving it. All right, so OSTK, we traded this several times in the room. I didn't trade it, maybe once in the last couple of weeks, but I didn't have shorts on this, so I didn't touch it. But it's gained 200% since the beginning of August, and that's not bad for somebody that's in Amazon shadow. I mean, that's really not bad. And the reason for this is Medici Ventures, Overstock's blockchain-focused division that has been in the works secretly for the past 3 years. They have been dealing with this on the down low, and I think they were trying to keep this under wraps because when it came out, they wanted to be in the forefront. But this firm has a number of companies in its portfolio dedicated to advancing blockchain applications. But the most prominent one is T0, which is planning an initial coin offering to fund the development of trade tokens for an SEC-compliant alternative trading system. Essentially, it's a stock offering, posing as a blockchain. And that I think is kind of fishy to me. So it's another reason why I'm not really messing with Overstock, even though it's making huge runs. This thing is making huge runs. I'm on the fence with this and these ICOs because these are unregulated. All right, so Square SQ, this is another one that we have traded in the last couple of weeks. This guy likes blockchain, but he doesn't think it's a blanket. It could be a blanket solution to everything. That it needs to be, individualized and tweaked for whatever you're going to use it for. So, Square stock is primed to have a first mover advantage in the Bitcoin marketplace. It's not a bad place to be. You know, on this report of testing a Bitcoin marketplace, this spiked the stock. You know, as this Bitcoin buying feature begins to roll out more, you know, SQ can benefit from fees it generates from people buying and selling the cryptocurrency. And, you know, the more people that use Bitcoin to, you know, these companies that will accept Bitcoin, the more validation is going to give. And, you know, eventually government's going to have to pay attention to it. But right now, you got to get while the getting's good. And that's what these guys are doing. Here's SQ. You can see we've had a big sell-off here. We'll see if they put out another announcement. But this was a big correction that it had. So I'm looking for this to bounce. You know, we're under the 20, which is a little concerning. But we'll see what happens after this. SAP, this is another one that is looking at spearheading a blockchain co-innovation initiative. Just another one in the bunch. I don't like this one. I brought this up just to show and demonstrate, you know, why I dismissed these charts. There may be some that are connected or highly connected to blockchain technology. But if you got an ugly daily chart like this, I'm not going to mess with it. And this is a type chart that I do not mess with. Okay, ACN. This one is also listed on the Reality Shares NASDAQ Blockchain Economy Index. And this is looking to solve what it considers inefficiency around money transfers. It's a consulting firm that works to improve their business. They have a blockchain expert that goes around from business to business to help them implement a blockchain strategy. So, you know, their goal is a swift adoption of a distributed ledger system, in which can only be good for every company on this list. It's, you know, the emerging technology. I don't think it's going away. And you can see how ACN has been gradually going up. We're not making huge moves here, but look at this. Since July, since this big gap down in June, we're actually in June, it has gone up. Okay, NVDA, this is a company that produces graphic processors. It's designed for video games, but it turns out that it's a good processor for the blockchains and this cryptocurrency market. Their chips now are used for mining Bitcoins, and the way you mine it is, just to put it simply, you have your computer, and it needs to be a powerful one, that's running these algorithms and things, and you're solving these complex mathematical equations. And as you do that, you earn Bitcoin. That's kind of what mining Bitcoins are. So, you know, this is so well known that I don't know if we're going to get much of a trading, you know, a spike off of this, or a bump. This has already been out there. So, you know, you can see we had a big pullback here. We're under all of these moving averages. It could be priced into the stock, or we could have just taken a breather here. But we lost this support, this ascending support, and this actually served as resistance here. but we're holding the 90 days, so we'll see. This is not one that I think is going to, really take off. And I just don't see it. But this is a company, I have this here because this is one that's real closely related to this industry. AMD is another chip maker, and it's pretty much the same deal as NVDA. This is a chip that they use to enhance mining Bitcoin. Baba, Microsoft, I think, are looking at doing a deal with these guys, or either they are using their technology. I'm not sure. But what I'm concerned about is that this company is probably going to be bought out, because it's a pretty small company, small cap. I don't think it has the cash, and doing an IPO, I don't think, or a secondary public offering, I don't think is going to help this much. So I'm thinking this one is primed to be taken over, which is why I think the price is being driven down. It may, hit another roadblock and get driven down some more. But I do believe this is on the verge of being bought out. And that's just my opinion. So DPW, Digital Power, it's a traditional manufacturer of power supply products. This company is getting into the equipment and services that target the cryptocurrency exchanges. So you can see DPW's. This is a lower price stock, and it's made a real nice run since toward the end of December, from just over $1 up to almost $6 this past week. So this is one, it's a lower price stock that I don't really trade. But you can see, sizing up, this thing would have given you a huge potential here. Okay, another one, Marathon Patent Group. It acquired Global Bit Adventures, which is a Bitcoin mining company. And a lot of day traders like trading this. This has been, for the last couple of weeks, day traders really have taken a shine to this. You see the increase in volume. So, that's one that you want to kind of look at as well. So that's my list of stocks that I'm keeping on watch and how I'm using them. And I just wanted to do this and share, because I get a lot of questions, and I wanted to make sure I have something out there that can answer everybody's question. But if you do have any beyond this, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to get back with you. So another thing I wanted to share with you is I will be doing another free webinar, and this one's going to be how to make a living day trading, how you can trade your 9-to-5 away and build that financial legacy you dreamed of. It's, everybody has the goal of being financially secure, stable, being able to take care of your family and give them the life that you dreamed for them when you started it. And it's possible. Is it hard? Yes. You're gonna get some bumps and bruises, but that's what life is all about. If everything was easy and unchallenging, life wouldn't be worth living. You might as well live in a bottle. And I went through it. I'm just an average guy. Started with, living paycheck to paycheck. I was broke as a joke. But, step by step, and using the process, because, average Joe trading, or trading the average Joe way, is a process. And it's a process that you can use to enhance your position. and you take it and you build off of it. So this is the next one that's going to be coming up. Stay tuned for it. As I said before, I started with nothing. So you can start where you are with what you have. I'm inviting you to join us in 2018. Check out what Average Joe Trading is all about. You get, as a member, you get access to every class. There's no upsell or anything. You get in, as long as you have an active subscription, you get access to the classes, to the weekly education webinars. I'm there talking. When you reach out, you get me. So that's why, I like the community the way it is. It's a small, intimate setting that's really designed to help you learn and achieve your goals. So if you're interested, just reach out. You can go to AverageJoeTrader.com, or you can email me, ed@AverageJoeTrader.com. Follow me on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all Average Joe Trader. And also, if you're here, my YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. You're going to continue to get some content that I feel is going to help you get to that next level. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed and got something from this webinar. And again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just reach out and I'll be glad to get back with you.